How Shable, fantastic. That's for the stream. I want to share with you Dystopia Exodus. The first thing I want to tell you is I was kind of hesitating to really come up with this video today. Yeah, because it's kind of cringy. And first of all, disclaimer: I do not condone any. I mean, from the age of high school, I do not condone any theories that are what's called wait. Yeah, I do not condone any conspiracy theories from the place I was from my high school, basically, from my junior high actually. So yeah, I do not condone any. However, I found it really interesting that two completely separate people, completely different people that do not knew even that each other exist, are talking about the same thing. This was really interesting to myself, so I just want to tell you those two perspectives of those two people and what I talk about. So, of course, we are talking about the current global restrictions. And the first person is an acquaintance of mine. Yeah, kind of acquaintance. She has been once as she's a famous Russian um, what's it called philosophy. Uh, and what she actually does is she was presenting her idea of more like pure maternity, um, and the thing is where she was presenting it. Well, she was like 1-2 years ago. She was invited to you might know it is Malta's embassy in Vatican City, which is representing the Order of Knights. Well, where basically the world elites is sitting in. You cannot get there without any invitation, and they're just people who are really the elites. And she actually talked about what happens there and what things she had actually found there that are pretty interesting. So this was the first thing, and interesting thing that another person who is actually worked for a long time for the United Nations in a high position rank, um, who is currently a British philanthropist. Um, it's not an acquaintance of mine, but he has, because of his work in the United Nations, he had a lot of friends. He made a lot of friends from people who are politicians and also um, of royal families, basically, who he was good acquainted with. Now, they have some different theories, of course, but they have some overlaps. And I want you to go a little bit more of the overlaps that I really found interesting, just to tell you what happened. So both, based on their experience, one being in Vatican and one having a lot of acquaintances being, in the United Nations. Well, they have talked both about that is a that we are dealing current with is just a small part of a huge plan, which is an instrument of global control. And in fact, she is actually also currently also living in a different place in Bali, and there he has actually also conducted some experiments because some experiments that we have globally mostly are filtered by the government, and we do not get actually the true information but filtered information. But he because he is an philanthropist, he is conducting with the best scientists in this world those kind of experiments in his place and also in the other universities in order to get results. And the results were really astonishing. Of course, you get actually the two chips and both of these antidotes, let's call them just antidotes. And I believe you know what I'm talking about the antidotes in the first place. In the second place is what was really interesting is that those antidotes is, yeah, basically it is killing or destroying the chromosomes 3, 6, and 8, which are responsible for human emotions such as empathy, shame, you name it, right? Be more human. And we're currently really dealing with an enormous power. We cannot really, it's beyond our own reckoning, because those roots of those people are actually on the age of Canatus, from the age of Canatus. And Canatus is actually even before freaking Babylon. I know it sounds a little bit creepy, but it is indeed. And if you go especially to this order, this person, this acquaintance of mine, has told like she had seen the signs of old Canatus culture within this order of knights where she has been. And also other different pictures, but not really pictures of, Maria with the child, not this kind of maternity pictures has been seen there, especially in this order, but more like acts and stuff like that, really kind of weird pictures but you don't see all the day. So what's really interesting is if you go to the like psychology and more or less how people from ancient get tendencies race has been made their own way into leading positions. It's really interesting that the biology of them is they are also missing the chromosomes 3, 6, and 8, which is kind of remarkable. And this is why they cannot right now comprehend with the human's irrationality, and they cannot understand it at all, because they're built really rational and don't have such chromosomes that have such human features, human emotion features. And I was also surprised that they will talk about the same thing I will talk about. That's way out is easily spoken is by rising your emotional state, aka being aligned with your soul, but not through religion, how the most people saying like soul equals religion, but it's not religion, but more through your deeds, which is happen within the bound of your own consciousness. And on the flip side, because of those current experiments with, G things, what happened is, and this person, as a second person, got information from one of his acquaintances, one of the mayor in Nevada, in one city in Nevada, that this year no birds came back home. No birds came to this place because there were no more insects, no birds. So they made a harm to the environment through those experiments. However, let's go back, because this is the first step, is basically to recognize your soul and be within. Now let's go to the second step out of it. Well, the second step is you have to be really true to your core. What is your core? And also true to your gender characteristics that I've talked about recently. If you haven't watched this video, just watch it. You know what kind of gender characteristics there are. And you can also, basically that's the next step. What you can also try is to as I also taught you these techniques, how to erase your negativity. You try to erase more and more of negativity till you have none in your environment. as well as raise your soul level. It's really important that you raise up your soul like a child, um, to this level that it can hand over the reins of control to your spirit. And it's a really interesting point, because I've also talked about, like, maybe 7 months before, what's the difference between soul and your spirit, because many people are thinking they're the same thing, but they are not. Soul is just a really emotional thing, but a spirit is really what is connecting you and the creator, the God, you name it, the deity. And this is why you have to first of all, raise up your soul, that it has no fear of death, no fear anymore. Then you can give up the reins of control to the spirit. And the spirit, actually, in short, the spirit is actually your individual guidance out of this dystopia. So no guru, no human being can actually get you out of it. The only one who can get you out of this dystopia, to have this exodus of this dystopia, is no one but you. If you go and raise up your own soul like a small child that becomes an adult, right? And then you give up the leadership to your own spirit, and the spirit will guide you through the gate off. So how to do it more, you can ask myself on in the comments. I mean, I have also explained details of it in past streams, but if you want to have it more compiled, you can ask myself privately. I can tell you how to do it. Have an awesome day, and as always, do not let yourself super now. See you maybe tomorrow.